The debate on illegal immigration, border security, and what to do about it all appears to be, in some quarters, turning into be a debate over race. Thank you, Mr. President. Bill Tucker has our report.
The president is making it personal, even though he says he doesn't want to.
I will do my best to make sure that this debate does not denigrate into name-calling.
President Bush has been striking a different tone in interviews with reporters, telling the Houston Chronicle, quote, "The truth of the matter is a lot of this immigration debate is driven as a result of Latinos being in our country. In blunter words, if you oppose the immigration bill, you're a racist."
This bill has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with legalizing illegal conduct. The whole key word is people are in the United States illegally.
The issue of race was underscored again at a news conference on Friday.
America must not fear diversity. We ought to welcome diversity.
Perhaps someone should explain to the president we are a diverse country. 1 in every 3 Americans is considered a minority. Latinos make up 14.8%, followed by blacks at 13.4%, and Asians at almost 5%. The United States issued almost 500,000 immigrant visas last year to people from literally every country, as well as another 5.8 million non-immigrant visas, including students and guest workers. 1.25 million people also became legal permanent residents last year, the majority of those from Mexico. The founder of the group, You Don't Speak for Me, feels betrayed by the president's comments.
He calls everyone that's opposed to the amnesty bill that he created racist. Well, let me tell you, Mr. President, I'm not a racist, as you can see. I'm part of this great nation, a patriot of this nation.
Over 600,000 foreign nationals became naturalized U.S. citizens in 2005.
The simple, straightforward message is race is not the issue. Legality is. Lou.
Legality, and a president who thinks he has to instruct. I mean, I don't know how out of touch this president is, but for him to sit there before that group of people and say that Americans should even consider diversity as an issue. This is the most diverse society on earth. And to speak in that patronizing, condescending, and frankly, in my judgment, inarticulate fashion of his, whether it is studied or just a reflection of his own talent at speaking, it is, I think, just reprehensible. And I can't even imagine what this administration, this president, I can't imagine what they're thinking. But it sure as heck isn't about anything that about a country that I know. And we're going to be dealing with that issue here later. Bill Tucker, thank you very much. Appreciate it. That brings us to the subject of our poll. Do you believe, as the president intimated, that Americans fear diversity? Yes or no? Cast your vote, please, at LouDobbs.com. We'll have the results here in just a few moments. One of the architects of the 1986 amnesty law is Senator Alan Simpson. He joined me here last night, and I asked him to take a look at the current legislation, and he laid out the problem rather succinctly. Let's put this in the context of the 1986 the amnesty. I have said, I've created just a straightforward syllogism. I've said you can't reform immigration laws in this country if you can't control immigration. And you can't control immigration if you don't control our borders and our ports. And I've said that if anyone will defeat the logic of that syllogism, I'll sign on to whatever the heck they've got to offer. What do you think?
Well, I'll buy the drinks at Cassie's Supper Club too, because that is absolutely correct.
That from one of the two principal architects of the 1986 amnesty legislation, and one of the finest and I think most respected senators to serve on Capitol Hill. One more consequence of our open borders policy and illegal immigration crisis is garbage. Lots of garbage. You hear environmentalists talk about not wanting to build a fence along our southern border for environmental reasons. Well, get this. Cleanup crews in southern Arizona have hauled about 250,000 pounds of trash, that's 250,000 pounds of garbage, away from the border area. But that figure, according to federal authorities, represents 1% of the estimated now 25 million pounds of trash dropped by illegal aliens crossing the border from Mexico. Environmentalists, by the way, who are concerned about the impact of that border fence might take a look at the reality on the ground as we face it now.